Hey gamers, Aksu here. Are you tired of paying taxes and ready to make the move to tax-free living? This video is for you. In this video, I'll share the tax haven design I've come up with, and one version of it is I think the largest volume space you can put inside of a standard sub-fief. Because the land claim with a standard sub-fief is much smaller and it can't be expanded, my main priority was maximizing interior space. This of course resulted in a large boxy structure, however, I think the open format can allow for easy customization. Once the box is built, and you've planned out your crafting and storage needs, it's certainly possible to carve into the base volume and create more interesting geometry to make your base look more unique. For tax-free, we need to build using a normal sub-fief. As a reminder, each player can have up to 3 land claims. However, only 2 of them can be normal sub-fiefs. One of the 3 must be an advanced sub-fief. I simply use the advanced sub-fief for my temporary bases in the deep desert, where taxes really aren't a concern. Let's review the volume of a normal sub-fief land claim. If you place your sub-fief console at ground level, you can easily accommodate a 5x5 floor plan and build up to 4.5 units above your foundations. Don't settle for this is far from optimized. Just the same as the advanced sub-fief, which I describe in my vertical staking unit video, a significant portion of your land claim extends below the height where you placed your console. In fact, there's 3.25 to 3.33 vertical units below. We're going to use a temporary sub-fief and then we can stack foundations. This will give us some geometry to place a sub-fief console higher up so that we can see the entire land claim above ground. The top surface of your first foundation should be placed at the height where you want the bottom boundary of your claim to be. You can hold control and scroll your mouse wheel to raise and lower the first foundation to the desired height. By placing 3 foundations and a railing, and the railing is a 1/4 height tall, it's the perfect surface height to place your sub-fief console. Keep in mind that you do need to destroy your temporary sub-fief console. Moving the console does not move the land claim boundaries. Move simply allows you to relocate the console within your claim. With the new sub-fief console built, we can now build the full 7.75 units of height. There are techniques where you can utilize all 7.75 units above ground. For example, where the first floor is a dirt floor and you use columns for support. I've even successfully built floor pieces at the bottom boundary of the land claim where you could still utilize the full 7.75 above ground. However, the full design fits in the land claim so tightly that it's pretty tricky to set up, and it's more dependent on the plot terrain as you must have grounded columns at specific locations. Setting up this maximal design would require a dedicated video if there's enough interest. Let me know in the comments. Typically when I'm building, I bury my base foundations into the ground. This allows me to smoothly drive my vehicles into a garage at ground level. If we dedicate that first level to grounded foundations, the design becomes much easier to apply in varied locations. For this, the sub-fief console is rebuilt 2.25 units above the level you want your first floor. This means I'm lowering the land claim 1 unit underground, leaving 6.75 vertical units to build up. It's that time, guys. Please help support the channel by subscribing. You can also leave a like or comment, which really does help with the algorithm. And if you happen to be interested in live gameplay, I do stream weekly on Twitch, and I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much, guys. Now let's look at the floor plan. We can easily place a pad of foundations in a 5x5 grid. We can't quite fit number 6. We could add a row of triangles instead, however, placing an exterior wall at the end of this triangle is a problem. For me, I want the initial design to enclose as much volume inside of my base as possible. Instead, by relocating our start square so that we can place a triangle extended out towards each boundary, if we place these just right, we can add the exterior walls. It is possible to place the triangles too close to the border, in which case you can't place that outer wall. If you get the first corner right, extend the build to the opposite corner. If we can place exterior walls on each side of our base, then the floor plan is properly placed. By completing the center 4x4 grid and adding an array of triangles on each side, this gives us a floor plan of 5.7 by 5.7 units, with only a small dead space in each corner. And remember, we couldn't make a 6x6. By presenting flat walls at each side, it's easy to integrate pentashields where needed, and a 4x4 pentashield can be placed at the center of the roof for vertical takeoff and landing. With the main structure built, you can now carve into the space to make a more interesting or functional base. Areas around the perimeter or at the corners or the upper level could be opened up to accommodate wind turbines and wind traps. Here's a quick tour of my base. You can see there's room for everything, and I've purposely kept my base open and spacious. And here's a peek of the ground floor for that maximalist design. It supports 7 3/4 vertical tiles above ground, and you can see that the floor tiles are built just at the lower boundary of the land claim. Be sure to leave a comment if you want a follow-up video that details how to set this up. I hope that you found this layout to be helpful. Good luck building your tax haven, and thank you for your support. Until next time.